Good morning, boys and girls. I want to go over some of the answers in your workbook so that you could check your work. And I was going to scan each page, but then I thought, no, this might be better to do it this way. All right, on your workbook, page 272, we're working with periods, and you know a period goes after initials. A period goes after days. A period goes after when you abbreviate the months, after a title. And we've been over all this. So I'm just giving you this to check so that you can check your workbook. And if you need more time to check, just pause the video and you can check it. All right, now we're on page 273. Of course, a period goes at the end of a sentence, after a title, after when you abbreviate governor, after a direction like south, if you abbreviate that. So here are all the answers for workbook page 273. Okay, and if you need more time to look at it, just pause the video. All right, now we're on to commas. And there were 3 rules on this page. Place a comma between the day and the year and a date, between the day and the month and the year. There should be a space there too. So down at the bottom, these are your answers. Are you attending their wedding on December 2nd, comma? Katie graduated on Friday, comma, June 7th, comma. On March 4th, comma. So there are the answers for page 274. Then for 275, these answers are all going to be different because you're all making up different sentences. Write a sentence starting or stating your complete address, so you put your address there, and then write a sentence with your town and state. So everybody's town and state is going to be different. So this page will the answers will be different. Let's go to page 276. See if I can get all this on one page. There we go. We're still working with commas. You have a comma between the town and the state, comma between the date, comma between the day and the month. So this is all pretty self-explanatory. So if you need more time to look this over, then just pause the video. Okay, and then we're still working with commas on page 277, and we have 3 examples at the bottom. When you have a introduction or an introductory word, you always have a comma. If you're addressing somebody directly, you put a comma after their name. When you're writing a letter, of course, you have a comma after the greeting and a comma after the closing. Okay, now we're on page 278, and there were 3 practice questions at the bottom. Of course, here's another letter, comma goes after the greeting, comma goes after the closing, and look here that this is the only word in this closing that's capitalized. Only the first word. And then here you are addressing somebody directly, so you have a comma after their name. Alrighty. Now we're on to page 279. More work with commas. Now we have some direct quotations. The mechanic asked. Now you put a comma here, and this is exactly what he asked. Your in punctuation goes inside that dialogue mark. So you wouldn't write the dialogue mark and then the in punctuation. The in punctuation goes right at the end of the sentence, then the dialogue mark. Here you are addressing somebody directly, so you have a comma after it. This is a positive because this is extra information about Mrs. Hart. Has been elected the mayor before dinner, comma. This is a prepositional phrase. Plates must be set on the table. Here's a direct quote. This is exactly what Emily said. Please come in, comma. All right, and then We have more practice with commas. Brad's name on the list appeared as Smith Brad. So remember, when you have a last name first, you always put the last name, then the comma. Here is a direct quotation. I want up, comma. Give that hat to Miss Lant, comma, the lady in the red hat. This is in a positive. The bride walked down the aisle. This is a conjunction, so you put a comma before the conjunction. All right, moving along. Here's a comma review. I'll just show you the whole thing so you can check. You can pause this video and check your answers and make sure all of your answers are correct. That's page 281. Then we go into punctuation, question marks and exclamation marks. These two at the bottom, your answers will vary because you're making up your own questions. Then we have punctuation up the apostrophe. Now, this is kind of difficult for some people. They're asking you here, now all these answers are going to be different, but they're asking you to write a contraction. So, couldn't, this equals could not. And we took out this this O, and we added an apostrophe to show that we've taken out a letter. The watercolors belonging to a boy. One boy, it's the boy's watercolors. There's more than one watercolors, so that's plural, but there's only one boy. So it's the boy, apostrophe S. This is showing that the boy owns these watercolors. These are cakes. These are more than one cake. Several bakeries. So there's more than one bakery. So in this case, we make this plural, bakeries, but this apostrophe after the S is showing that there are more than one bakery. So there's many bakeries, cakes. The bakeries, these bakeries own the cakes. Shoes belonging to more than one repairman. Okay, so more than one repairman is two, and we've got two shoes. So shoes is going to be plural, and the repairman is going to be plural. So instead of repairman, we've changed it to repairmen to make it plural, and we're having an apostrophe S to show that they own the shoes. A wagon belonging to less. Well, there's one wagon and there's one less. So less's wagon. But we could actually just do it like this and not have the extra S on the end. It's more pleasing to the eye. Although you could add the S to show that it's less's wagon, but you don't have to put that extra S. Just having the apostrophe here lets us know that it's less's wagon. All right, and here's more work with apostrophes. My bicycle tire is flat. So the bicycle's tire, the tire belongs to the bicycle, and there's one of them. If you are ready to leave, I will drive you home. Those are contractions. Mary and Jonah's aunt. So there's one Jonah, and he owns the aunt. It is his aunt. So we put an apostrophe S to show ownership. He owns that aunt. Not really, but it's his aunt. Women's dresses and toddler shoes are on sale. So women, we know this is two. Toddlers, two. So we've changed this to the plural because it's two. And we're showing ownership by that apostrophe S. We're showing that the women own the dresses. And the toddlers, there's two. We put an apostrophe here to show that these toddlers own these shoes. Did not her mother buy a man's suit? There's one. So the man, by putting apostrophe S, we're showing that the man owns the suit. Then we're on to colons and working with colons, and everybody knows that there's a colon between the times. If you have a biblical passage, This is the section and this is the chapter. Anytime you want a list to follow, you use a colon. And it's kind of like saying, ta-da, here's what I'm talking about. I bought these items, ta-da, watercolors, pastels, and brushes. Okay, and then the next page is also about putting colons in the proper place. So you put them in day and times. You put them in large passages in like a Bible. If you're about to write about something, so you're going to write about battles. Okay, this colon says, okay, everything that follows this colon is about battles. Names of my dogs, ta-da, here's Rex, Sugar, Force. Dear Dr. Benson, this is in a formal letter. Instead of a comma, you'd put a colon to show that you're being very formal with that person. And I think the rest is self-explanatory. But I'm just giving you these pages so that you can correct your pages in your workbook today. All right, bye kids.